Hello everyone, welcome to our channel. Here, you will hear various chilling and true stories from across Asia, tales that delve into the supernatural and the unexplained. Prepare yourself to journey into the eerie and the mysterious, where real events blur with the legends that haunt this vast and ancient continent. The old district of Yanaka in Tokyo is imbued with a special spirit of the times. Every street and every old building here seems to hold stories from centuries past, stories of people who once lived, loved, and suffered here. Hidden among the narrow stone streets, shaded by leafy trees, are secrets and legends that have been passed down from generation to generation by the locals. One such legend is the dark tales of ghosts that haunt these streets, as if protecting them or, on the contrary, imprisoning their stories here forever. The Yanaka district in Tokyo is one of the few areas that has preserved the atmosphere and spirit of old Japan, despite the rapid development of the metropolis around it. Unlike the dazzling skyscrapers, ultramodern shopping complexes, and bright neon lights, Yanaka is a quiet oasis of the past, where time seems to have stopped. It is a place where ancient traditions harmoniously coexist with the everyday life of modern Tokyo. Walking through its narrow streets, one can feel the unique charm of the previous century. Wooden houses with carved shutters, old stone bridges over small canals, paths lined with cherry and maple trees, early in the morning filled with the gentle scent of flowers. Here, there are almost no huge billboards or loud shops. Instead, there are small shops selling herbs, antiques, tea, and crafts, many of which have been handed down in families for generations. Yanaka has become especially popular among those seeking an authentic experience of old Tokyo: artists, book lovers, students, and travelers wanting to escape the hustle and bustle of the big city. The streets here are paved with cobblestones, and the pedestrian paths are sometimes so narrow that it seems one can reach out and touch the wall of a neighboring house. A special, peaceful silence reigns here, broken only by the distant singing of birds and the whisper of the wind playing with the tree branches. The air is filled with subtle scents of nature, sandalwood, fresh pine, and old book pages, exuding the smell of time. In such places, the spirit of the Edo era seems to linger, reflecting ancient customs, traditions, and worldview. Many buildings preserved in Yanaka are constructed according to traditional Japanese architectural principles, using wood, paper, and stone. Their structures seem fragile but have survived for centuries thanks to careful maintenance. Inside these houses, one can find lacquered dishes, writing utensils made of rice paper, rolled-up scrolls with calligraphy, all creating a feeling of immersion in another world. Despite its quiet, Yanaka has always been a lively place. Annual festivals honoring ancestors are held here, traditional tea ceremonies take place, and other customs are observed. Over the centuries, these streets have witnessed moments of joy and sorrow, births of new lives and farewells to the departed. Local residents cherish history, and history does not leave them indifferent. Every house, every stone in Yanaka is enveloped in legends and mysteries that are difficult to trace in official documents but live in the memory of the people. These legends combine religious beliefs, folklore, and stories passed down through generations. Many tell of spirits who protect the district or sometimes call for justice for unjustly lost lives. Yanaka is not only an architectural monument but also a living fairy tale where time and space intersect, where the past seems as tangible as the present. It is this unique atmosphere that makes the district special and attractive to those seeking something more than just an urban landscape of a big city. This other side of Tokyo, quiet, mysterious, filled with grandeur and tragedies, is at the heart of many mystical stories and legends connected with spirits who, according to locals, have not yet left the cozy streets of Yanaka. And it is here, amid the old houses and quiet alleys, that those hidden stories unfold, which we reveal today. The story took place in one of these houses, becoming a topic of conversation among the local residents. The story of a young student who moved here searching for an affordable room to be closer to the university and the opportunities of the big city. The house seemed perfect to her, affordable, cozy, and conveniently located near educational institutions. However, none of those who focused only on the price and location expected that behind the thin wooden walls lay a secret difficult to explain by rational means. The house itself was an old wooden structure, standing quietly on a quiet street lined with other aging buildings. Its weathered exterior told stories of countless seasons endured, rain and sunlight etched into its surfaces. The windows, framed with faded paint and delicate carvings, overlooked narrow alleys where shadows played under the dim glow of paper lanterns. The air inside held a faint scent of aged wood mixed with incense, a fragrance that seemed to linger long after the candles were extinguished. For the young student, this house was a welcome refuge in a sprawling, overwhelming city. She admired its quaint charm, the creaking floorboards that whispered with every step, and the soft rustle of leaves outside her window. The quietness was a balm after the noisy bustle of university life. But as days passed, small anomalies began to disrupt the calm. Time seemed to bend within the rooms. Clocks would show different times, shadows would lengthen and contract strangely, and sounds from distant parts of the house emerged unexpectedly. Soft murmurs, barely audible, became part of the household ambience. Footsteps echoed in empty hallways, and doors would creak open or close on their own. At night, the faint flicker of candlelight could be glimpsed in the far corners, although no one was there to light them. Above the door to her room, 3 unlit incense sticks were carefully placed, an arrangement that, to the untrained eye, might seem decorative but carried a significant warning. In local tradition, such offerings served to protect the living from restless spirits or to contain supernatural forces within certain boundaries. This symbolic gesture underscored the delicate balance maintained between the tangible world and unseen realms within the walls of the old house. The neighbors, longtime residents of the area, spoke in hushed tones of the house's past. They told tales of sorrow, lost love, and unfulfilled promises. The most persistent legend was about a young woman named Sakura, whose tragic fate was interwoven with the very fabric of the house. According to their accounts, Sakura was a beautiful maiden who lived there many decades ago, her life cut short in circumstances shrouded in mystery and pain. Despite the passage of time, the memory of Sakura was alive in whispered stories and cautious reverence. Many believed that her spirit roamed the premises, lingering in the corridors and gardens, her presence felt through inexplicable chills and fleeting glimpses of a figure draped in white. Some locals claimed to hear her soft singing during quiet nights or to see delicate petals falling gently in places untouched by wind. The dual nature of the house, as both a home and a shrine to sorrow, created an atmosphere thick with unresolved emotions. To outsiders, it might have seemed merely old and neglected, but to those who understood, the house was a living monument to a past that refused to be forgotten. The young student, initially unaware of these layers of history and superstition, found herself gradually drawn into the mystery that surrounded her new home. As days turned into nights, the lines separating reality from legend blurred. The house, with its intricate latticework of wood and paper, became a stage where unseen forces acted out their stories, sometimes in whispers, sometimes in shadows cast long by the lantern light. The student's experience was no longer just about adapting to a new living space but about navigating the delicate threshold between the everyday and the supernatural, between past tragedies and present fears. This chapter of her life was marked not only by academic challenges but by an ever-deepening connection to the eerie legacy housed within the old wooden walls. As the story would unfold, it would reveal how history, memory, and myth intertwined, shaping the unseen echoes that still dwell within Yanaka's timeless streets. In the first days of living in the house, the young student began noticing subtle disruptions in the normal flow of time and space within her new home. It was as if the very walls whispered secrets not meant for ordinary ears, and the air itself seemed charged with unseen energies. Unexplainable occurrences gently punctuated her days and nights, shifting the familiar into something unfamiliar and eerie. At times, while sitting quietly in her room, she would hear the faintest murmur, a whisper so soft it was almost imperceptible, like voices carried from long ago, ever present yet never fully heard. These whispered tones were layered under the ambient sounds of the city outside, and yet distinctly separate, as if the house itself breathed its own hidden life. There were moments when she sensed the movement of something unseen, like the slow, deliberate brush of a hand or the quiet footsteps of someone sweeping through dark, narrow corridors that should have been empty. The sound was subtle, a soft swish that neither belonged to the bustling streets outside nor the usual household noises. It was as if the house retained echoes of past lives, replaying routines long since departed. Above the door to her room, unusual in its simplicity and symbolic in its meaning, hung 3 unlit incense sticks carefully placed in a neat row. To an outsider, this might have appeared to be a mere decoration or a forgotten ornament, but within the context of local customs, it served a far deeper purpose. These incense sticks were a sacred caution, a talisman against awakening forces that dwelled in the unseen realms beyond normal perception. Incense, in traditional Japanese culture, is often used in rituals designed to purify spaces, ward off negative spirits, or honor the departed. The unlit state of these particular sticks suggested restraint or a paused ritual, hinting at tensions yet unresolved. The household's careful preservation of this symbol, maintaining it day after day without lighting, reflected a balance, a delicate truce with the restless entities believed to inhabit the home. These small but potent details gradually painted a picture of a space suspended between worlds. Every sound, shadow, and scent was imbued with significance, layering the house with a veil of ancient mystery. The presence of these subtle signs served as a reminder that the student was part of a living tradition, enmeshed in the delicate threshold where the physical and spiritual converged. Outside the immediate walls of the home, the community surrounding this house was steeped in folklore and guarded reverence. The neighbors respected the invisible boundaries that marked the house as different, a place that held old memories and lingering sadness. Conversations in hushed tones spoke of the young woman named Sakura, whose spirit was said to inhabit the property. Her story was woven into the fabric of the neighborhood's collective memory, shaping the way the living interacted with this somber corner of Yanaka. As days passed, the student's awareness deepened, and she became more attuned to the intangible rhythms that pulsed through the house. The veiled world of whispers and movements was no longer an anomaly but part of the ordinary fabric of her daily life. A haunting poetry lived quietly between the walls, connecting the present with a past not so easily left behind. Locals often spoke in hushed tones about the spirit of a young woman named Sakura who was said to inhabit the house for many years. According to their stories, Sakura was once a beautiful maiden, full of life and promise, but her fate was tragically cut short under circumstances shrouded in mystery and sorrow. Though countless years have passed, her restless soul has not found peace, lingering in the narrow alleys and shadowed corners of Yanaka. The residents described encounters with Sakura's presence as fleeting glimpses of a figure clad in white, drifting silently through the historic streets at dusk. Her image was often accompanied by a chilling breeze, a gentle but unmistakable sign that an otherworldly force was near. Sometimes, the faint melody of a traditional lullaby or the soft flutter of falling cherry blossom petals would be heard or seen in places where no wind blew. Respect and fear intertwined among the people, a cautious reverence for Sakura's memory and the unresolved grief that seemed to bind her to the earthly realm. Her presence was neither hostile nor harmful, but it was profound, a somber reminder of lost love, unfulfilled dreams, and the fragility of life. Visitors who ventured near the old house recounted sensations of sadness hanging heavy in the air, as if the very walls absorbed and echoed the pain of times long past. For many, the story of Sakura transcended mere ghostly legend. It became a symbol of the inescapable bonds between living and dead, past and present. The spirit was believed to wander not out of malice but out of eternal longing, a spectral keeper of memories that must not be forgotten. Around the house, numerous mysteries lingered. Strange silhouettes would occasionally appear at twilight, vanishing before they could be fully seen. Some neighbors mentioned hearing soft footsteps on empty staircases or catching glimpses of pale hands touching the aged wooden railings, only for nothing to be there moments later. Sporadic unexplained sounds filled the night, a whispered call, the rustling of silk, or the faint sobbing echoing down deserted hallways. These phenomena were whispered about only in trusted circles, for there was an unspoken warning. The space was sacred and haunted not by evil spirits but by a sorrow unwilling to dissipate. passers-by were urged to treat the area with respect. Disturbances were said to provoke a gentle but unmistakable presence, an unseen guardian of memories and pain alike. The legacy of Sakura and the house was woven deeply into the cultural and spiritual fabric of Yanaka's community, a bridge between the tangible and the ethereal. The stories persisted not only as folklore but as living reminders of the delicate balance between remembrance and release, between history's shadows and the dawn of each new day. This chapter in the house's history is more than a tale of a restless ghost. It is a testament to the enduring humanity etched into the very streets of Yanaka, a haunting narrative that continues to stir the hearts of those who dare to look beyond the surface. Seeking answers and hoping to find relief from the unsettling experiences in the old house, the young student turned to a local monk renowned for his knowledge of traditional rituals and spiritual protection. The monk, an elderly man with serene eyes and a calm presence, lived in a modest temple nestled among the labyrinth of Yanaka's narrow streets. Upon hearing her story, the monk nodded thoughtfully and explained that the spirit she sensed was not malicious but a sorrowful soul caught between worlds. He spoke gently about the nature of restless spirits, how their attachments to the living world are often tied to unfinished business or intense emotions that prevent them from moving on. The monk offered to perform a purification ritual, a delicate ceremony designed to calm the spirit and help guide it toward peace. With reverence, he presented the student with an amulet, a small, intricately crafted charm worn to provide spiritual protection and connect the wearer with positive energies. This amulet was symbolically imbued with blessings and prayers. He instructed her carefully. Every evening she was to light sandalwood incense and allow its smoke to permeate every corner of her room, believing that the fragrance would purify the air and soothe the restless spirit. Reciting specific prayers and meditations was essential to honor the spirit and invite tranquility into the space. After sunset, the door to her room should remain closed, respecting the boundaries between the living and the unseen world. The monk's words carried a mixture of hope and caution, underscoring the importance of respecting and acknowledging the spirit's presence while maintaining her own safety and peace of mind. He reminded her that while the ritual could ease the spirit's suffering, it was also a journey, one that required patience, sensitivity, and ongoing care. Following the ritual's guidance, the student began her evenings enveloped in incense smoke and soft chants, feeling a gradual yet profound shift in the atmosphere of the house. The air grew lighter, and the earlier oppressive tension seemed to dissipate. Yet, despite the calm, a quiet anticipation remained, as though the house breathed slowly in rhythm with the ritual's unfolding. This chapter of her experience was one of transformation and delicate balance. It was a meeting point of ancient spiritual practices and modern life, illustrating the enduring power of cultural traditions to bridge the worlds of the physical and the metaphysical. Through the monk's teachings and her own commitment, the student found a way to coexist with the mysterious presence, honoring the past while safeguarding her present. The ritual did not erase the house's mysteries, but it imbued the space with a renewed sense of harmony, softening the edges of fear and opening a door toward understanding. In this union of faith, respect, and ancient wisdom, the unseen became less terrifying and more a testament to the mysteries that lie just beyond human perception. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, please subscribe to our channel and leave your comments below. Share your thoughts and let us know which stories you want to hear next.